What's up, everybody? This is Russell Brunson, and welcome to a special Wrestling Room edition of the Marketing Secrets Podcast. So the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs like us, who didn't cheat and take on venture capital, who are spending money from our own pockets, how do we market in a way that lets us get our products and our services and the things that we believe in out to the world and yet still remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Russell Brunson, and welcome to Marketing Secrets. Hey everyone, so I'm here in the wrestling room at my home. Well, I guess technically it's my detached garage, but those who haven't seen it, if you're watching the video version, this is what it all looks like. It is my little piece of heaven here on earth, and I love it. So, but today was the very first ever wrestling practice I did with my kids and their friends here. This is the t-shirts we made, because I'm a little eccentric and we can't have a practice without a t-shirt, so we made t-shirts and everything. But it was fun. We had, I think, 12 or so boys here, and from my little kids' age up to the older kids, and it was fun, but it was hard. Anyways, interesting. Obviously wrestling's been my passion, and my whole life I wanted my kids to be in it. For some reason, like, they just have so much resistance to it. It's like, I remember this year my 12-year-old twins started wrestling finally, and the very first day they went to practice. I didn't know the practice had started yet. I thought it was starting the next day, and they came home both in tears, like, we hate wrestling, we're never going back. And I was like, oh man. So I called the coach up. I got to know him, and he said, well, you should come help coach then. I'm like, dang it. So I decided to be an assistant coach, and I spent the next 2.5 months or so every day at wrestling practice, which ended up being amazing with the kids. But it was hard because between each break, like, can we quit yet, Dad? Can we quit yet? I watched my kids go out there and get beat up. I'm just like, man, am I doing the right thing? Like, part of me is like, you got to make your kids be tough and force them to do hard things. But then part of me is like, man, they're not having any fun. Like, am I a bad dad for doing it? Anyway, these are the emotional turmoil that goes through my head as I'm trying to learn this whole parenting game, which is way harder than I thought it was going to be. And making millions of dollars is way easier than raising kids. But anyway, they finished the season. They had a good time. And by the end of it, Bowen, who was the one who hated wrestling the most, told me that wrestling's his favorite sport. So I'm like, yes. And then Dallin, he got injured pretty bad. I think I did a podcast on that, but he liked it as well. So finally, I've been trying to, now the season's over, I'm like, we got a wrestling in our backyard. Let's get a bunch of kids together. So I've been trying forever, and finally today was the first day we made it happen. And I had my little boy Aiden out here too, and some of his friends. And man, it was crazy because it's something interesting as you start new things again. You forget how much resistance normally comes when you start something new. I've been trying, honestly, for 2 years just to have this wrestling practice. And then 6 months ago, I printed these shirts. I'm like, we're doing it this weekend. And then we didn't do it again. And it finally happened today. And even today, man, last night, Aiden, my 7-year-old, going to bed, I can't, you have to go to bed now because it was it's still late. It was 10 o'clock. I'm like, because we got to get for wrestling. I don't want to wrestle in the morning. He's like, I have homework and I have all these things. And I'm like, you have homework? You're in first grade, dude. He's like, yeah, I have 5 hours of homework. I can't do wrestling. I have to do homework in the morning. I'm like, whatever, dude. Just fighting. This morning he was fighting. Everyone was fighting. They didn't want to come. And then they came out here and the boys were fighting and the twins were fighting and and then luckily his friends showed up, which was good. And then we did practice and then practice was it's just funny in your head. You're like, okay, they're all gonna listen. We're gonna do these things. We're gonna get through stuff. And it was hard being an odd number of people, so I'd help be a drill partner plus coach plus try to coach everyone plus anyway. It was tough. And there was so much resistance. And then in the end, my boys are fighting and they're crying. And I tried to do the little wrestle offs. Each of the kids are wrestling, and 2 of my boys are crying by the end of it because they get hurt and so much resistance. So anyway, the reason I'm making this video is twofold. Number one, I think someday it'll be fun to come back here, and if I can get these kids past the initial pain of a new thing, it'd be fun to show them this and be like, hey, this was day number 1 of the practice, guys. This is how beat up your dad was and how tired and how bad I wanted to quit already. Because man, you start anything new, the initial resistance is insane. It's like you have to push this boulder up a hill. And if you're not insanely passionate and obsessive about what you do, you're not going to make it up that hill. There's just too much resistance that happens initially. As people tell me, I'm going to start a business. Can I just I'm not passionate about anything. Can I just do, they just want to do something. I'm like, man, you can, but there's a lot of resistance that goes into starting a business, and you got to push this boulder up a hill. If you don't love it, man, you're gonna, yeah. If I didn't love wrestling and loved just spending time with the boys, I'd quit after today. Today was, as much fun as it was kind of horrible. It was so hard. And then, anyway, it was not horrible. It was good. It was just not the picture I painted in my head, And I think a lot of times we get into business, we have this picture in our head of hey, this is what's going to look like. It's going to be amazing. And then you get in there and you're like, huh, nobody wants my stuff. Wow, traffic is expensive. Wow, problem, 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 problem. And if you're not insanely passionate initially, the resistance will stop you and it'll bury you before you ever get there. So as I'm trying a new thing, a new chapter of my life, of being a coach of my kids, which, and I'm going through that resistance, I just wanted to share with you guys because we all go through it. And most of you guys listening to this podcast, you're here because you want to learn marketing and business and scaling and things like that. And I just, you probably weren't thinking about hearing me talk about wrestling coaching, but it's the same principle. Anything new we start, we will be immediately met with tons of opposition and resistance, no matter what it is, especially if it's a good thing. The better it is, the more opposition and resistance you will get. And that's a sign that you're doing the right things. And so, that said, I'm done. I'm gonna go sit in the hot tub. I have stuffy nose, I'm kind of sick, but I'm just gonna celebrate today, act like it was everything I dreamt of and more, so I can forget about some of the hurdles, so that way we'll be able to keep moving forward and keep doing this. And I just know that if I do this consistently for a month, for 6 months, for a year, my kids will be good. They're gonna like it. I'm gonna like it. We'll have wrestlers that know what they're doing, and practice will become fun, and it'll be awesome. But it all starts somewhere. So today was my starting day, and wherever it is you're starting at, or wherever you are meeting the most opposition right now, hopefully this gives you a little bit of hope and faith, and the energy you need to push through that opposition, because the amazing stuff's right on the other side. We just got to get there. It's happened so many times in my life in so many different areas, and I'm excited for it to happen now here in the wrestling stuff, as long as the kids don't quit. So there's my job. It's harder like when it's yourself, you don't have to quit. When the kids are like, we don't like this, it's harder, but they're liking it more. It's getting better. So, all right, guys, that said, I'm going to go and maybe take a nap or something. I don't even know. But whatever you're doing, break through that resistance. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Would you like to see behind the scenes of what we're actually doing each day to grow our company? If so, then go subscribe to our free behind the scenes reality TV show at www.funnelhacker.tv.